it's still
I guess no one gets to learn him.
checking.
Hold up.
No one has
There's
to
an
know.
ad. No,
It's
this
back.
we're good.
It's back.
Chilling.
Yay.
Yippee.
Fantastic. That was weird. Yeah, my internet just cut out for like 10 seconds there. That was really strange. Sorry about that.
All good.
Right.
I will say the one thing like that I do notice about this team is it feels like it's a lot of players who I'm not yapping too hard, but like everyone kind of thinks they're like him, and like it's just 5 hims who aren't actually him, but like you guys are still decent, like all good players. It's just like I think it's like, oh, we put these 5 players together. We're actually like this is the best, like a really good team. Like we could just need to make it work, and it's so difficult to do when it doesn't work, and then everyone's kind of like, let me do it. I'm better. Like, I don't know if that was happening, but I feel like everyone's kind of like, let me attack because attack's not working. And then it's like, I don't want to do this. And then it's just kind of hard to like make everyone happy when there's no one who is being selfish because everyone wants to attack. So it's kind of difficult to like make that work at all.
Yeah, I think, well, at least for like Cool Beans, probably had the least I'm him. Like he'd come out of a game and do well, be like I am him, but he didn't go into every game with that like mentality as if it was going to stop and limit us. So
Yeah.
like props to him for that, because I think he was just like the most solid, just like I'll do exactly what you need me to every game, and he did that.
And you need
And
you needed
like,
that. Like,
yes. Yeah.
if you had another person who was like, I want to attack, it
Yeah.
actually would have been fucked.
Yeah, we all leave. Why not just commit to dumping? The one thing we all hated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you got 5 attackers.
in
there,
Eric's
right?
I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, it
would've
was
been goated. What the
kind of
hell?
working in bits and pieces, and then we're like, oh, we can't do anything else.
What the hell
Yeah,
do
we
you
just need
draw
to,
for
like,
bro
I guess,
Dizzle?
crack down on what we're doing.
I actually have no
You're a
idea.
husband.
Just draw a bro, like
Just a bro
Dizzling. I don't-
Dizzler, yeah.
Just like I don't even know. Like
What is dizzling?
I don't know. I just imagine it's someone like stoned out of their mind, just like moving their hands around for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm
Do we want to just do improvements?
Yeah. That's next.
I feel like all I'm just gonna say is like the same thing, but like just someone eat the shit and just sit on the door.
Yeah.
Like someone's just gotta like take it and that's fine. And like don't let Plank. Actually, it's improvements. Plank learn how to read a game so that you don't dump when you shouldn't. Like or like even suggest it.
I think we were okay. Like by the end, we were calming it down a fair bit. Like Dart and I were fine to be like 3-4 if we really, really had to. Oh wow.
Oh wow.
He's
Just looked at the drawing and like, ah.
Dizzling.
And Brody was like, okay, locked in. Went okay. I will just be 4, and like he still did little pushes, but like it didn't cost us as much, I don't think. And then for Plank, we went, don't worry, just for now, don't think. Leave it to Dart and I to do that bit, and we'll be fine.
Fantastic. Who is everyone's pick for standout player? Finn, you can start. You have to choose one of your boyfriends.
Cool Beans, the man of the team, just because he was like the very like dropped everything. Was like, I will do this for you every game, and he did it. And he was probably the defense for the entire comp.
Fantastic. Peregrine?
I would actually probably put on Phynn, actually, as my star player for
Let's
this
go.
team. No, just to get a bit of consistency. Those like good to see out and attack. Like do the thing you do well, and still do it well. Like the whole time, it was a good consistency thing, and I think it really helped drag the team up a little.
Yeah, I'll say Finn as well because I just love watching people, and I be one of those people, lose their fucking mind when they get easy base. Like, they actually start to like
It's the
have
best.
a stroke.
It's the best pass after like 5 shots of denials, and then an easy base gets called. It's
Exactly.
And there's no change
There's
in
no
tone
sarcasm.
or anything.
No.
It's
That
just
was
like
still an
I
easy
just
base.
got destroyed, but easy base.
The best bit.
Fantastic. Any last bits we want to say about the Beans boyfriends?
I will say, just like lockout doesn't really matter too much with this team. I think it was fine, no complaints, no one was yapping. And then lights, I think probably just helped Phynn, like with the calling and stuff.
Oh, I think Dart was using the lights way more than I was. I looked up like maybe twice the entire, or like properly looked up twice the entire comp and went, oh, we should do something about that. And then other times I happened to look up and went, that means something, I think. And just kept playing.
Dart was on ramp a lot, so like that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I left a lot for Dart. Like he, especially when we went to 2-3, I'm like, cool, I'll do the main part or like getting the attack at least going. And then I was sort of letting him do other parts too. Or like he did the Olympus thing that like they mentioned on the Nat stream. Like we basically co-captained it, and I like props to him. If like not Cameron for like standout, then also Dart.
Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Anything else we want to say about Bean's boyfriends before we move on?
Let's move on. We've been an hour already.
We have an hour already. Cool.
You got to do a lot of drawing still.
Yeah, you gotta start speeding those up.
I am gonna have to put like a 30-second timer on each of them. All right. Moving on, we have the Warriors in 8th place, and they had a bit of a shaky tournament to begin with. Looking at the thing,
They did the thing.
They were like 13th the whole tournament until the last day. No,
I don't think they won a game until like late Cascades 2. I don't think they got more than a third until late Cascades 2.
Their first win was against us.
Yeah.
Who wants to shed some light on what they think was going on then?
I think it was like partly a combination of like going back to H Pro as opposed to H2, like the system that gives them that huge advantage. I think going back to that a little bit, going back to like slightly different arena, and like I had a conversation with them partway through the arena, like halfway through the comp, more than halfway through the comp, where they're like, "Why is everybody dumping? Like we don't understand." And having a chat to them about like that's the thing we've got to work around at the moment. I don't know. I feel like they just had a lot of trouble building momentum with anything, or just getting used to it. Just like we started to see a little bit of their rise back again towards the end, like obviously in finals, but it felt more like the pre-H2 era, Tassie players that we knew of, that we used to know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ref one of their games in their base. And this was a game, I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm going to guess Sega was not having fun on attack. So for some reason, Sega was last line. And every time someone would come to their base, I would watch. Like, it would be like maybe not even a clear comm, maybe a clear comm, but then both the door defenders would just leave and say nothing. And Sega's like, 0-0, hello. And then like, they lost like 3 bases to that. But I don't think that happened all comp, so I'm not going to say that that's the reason that like they didn't do well. I think the start it looked like they really prioritized the ramp and just had 2 people on the ramp at all points. And the ramp is really good, but you can't just live there. Like you actually need to be proactive and like do more, especially with how aggressive people were. Like I think if Vikings were here and people were playing slower, the ramp would be like the hot zone, but because people are doing 3-man attacks and like being more aggressive and not being as slow pack point wise, I think that like they tried to play that game and no one wanted to play. Everyone else was like, "Fuck your game, we're running around like idiots." Like we run at base brainlessly and we get based before you have even like seen 10 people. Like. I think ramp is really strong, but it looks like they prioritized it way too much.
Sure. And how do we feel the team was on 60ms? Because obviously that's something that Hobart has been training and prepping for Worlds and stuff. So I would envision that they didn't struggle with it too much.
I think we still saw a lot of them just going and standing off next to people.
I was actually going to say they were.
Yeah.
It kind of felt
I
like they
think-
were struggling, like by the looks of it. Like some of their players are
Interesting.
fine,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
you go, Finn.
Definitely by the end for sure. Oh, sorry, at the start. I think at the end they were picking it up a bit better. Like that's how I don't know. At the end, obviously they did the climb again. Pre three. But they like I don't know. It felt like they also just weren't comfortable in the maze. I remember
Yes.
someone mentioning like Rizzo also being like, I hate this. I hate being under like red. And I remember like the thing you said about like their door defenders walking off. I had a game where I just kept like literally walking into the base and going, there's Rizzler. Shoot him in the back and then we'll like walk out. And then there were no comms.
Yeah. I think we saw it a little bit at Aubrey, but they kind of got away with it more because of the way that the maze played. But the way that they play at home in Hobart doesn't work well here because they can't like defend by also shooting people. Like you kind of are committed sometimes to like just being on a door, or like you're committed to pushing because the maze is slightly more. There's more walls. There's less line of sights. Like
Yeah.
And it just definitely did look like they kind of didn't understand how the flow. And like from what I saw, it never felt like they really had a good, all things considered and how much they've been training it. It did not look like they had a good grasp on how to like attack on 60 ms consistently. Like it felt like they got minced a little bit sometimes, but then there'd be games where it was fine. So maybe it's just like performance based with them. I'm not 100% sure.
Assuming the Warriors came back as their full roster for next tournament, what points of improvement would you give to them? Just like some pretty concise things, tangible things that they can try.
What is happening in this drawing?
I also took a moment to figure that out. I think
my
it's easy points at the top, yeah?
Yeah. And my awful handwriting isn't helping out. Payne is not helping out, but he says, good thing I brought my library card because I'm checking you out.
It's the Rizzler.
The Rizzler. I was like, I need the lore on who used this move. Like, this is crazy.
Me in primary school, probably.
Christ.
It didn't work, safe to say.
Points. Do you have anything else to say, Peregrin, or we just want to move to points of improvement?
No, nothing else really. I think points of improvement is sort of the next really big thing. Like, I think for them it's just sort of adapting. It's just adapt, like it is the maze, and you've got to adapt to it, and it's the 60 ms. Like they've got to adapt to it. Like getting a bit of a better read for how the meta is playing out. I think as well could be a bit of a thing. Like keying into that early. And trying to figure out how everyone else is playing the game, and then figure out why they're playing it that way, and how do you adjust to it.
Yep.
Fantastic. And who is everyone's pick for standout player?
Celery! Always, because I just have the most fun with him in the maze. Rock up to his door, do things. We know what things. If Celery's watching.
I think no matter what, Celery is always just very consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to win standoffs. He's going to do well on a door. He's going to be fine on attack. Like, he is very consistent. So I'm going to say Celery as well.
Yeah, I'd actually pick for Sherry Kitty. Like, another one of those. I still feel like it's one of those ones where like people talk Sherry Kitty up a lot, but she's still a very consistently good player. Not as flashy or showy, but like a very good player nonetheless.
Oh shit! And that's perfect timing, gentlemen.
What about Celery?
He's at the bottom, brother.
Wait. Oh,
Is the green bar.
I thought that was part of the logo, the Sega logo. That makes sense.
Fantastic. That was perfect timing. Well done, everyone. I finished it as we finished talking about him. Sick. Cool. Yeah. Warriors, well done on making a big comeback on the last day. That's really sick. Something we come to expect from the Hobart guys. Like, even if it's not a comeback from somewhere really low, like we always expect some kind of a climb, right? That's something, especially like that Archangel's kind of core, that's pretty like synonymous with them at this point. So it's cool to see that again. Moving on. It feels bad doing all these drawings just for me to fucking Control Z all of it, but whatever. Bit of fun.
It's for the content, Ryan.
It's for the content. All right. Oh,
Is that a
Yeah.
disease?
I'm out of control Z's. That's okay. In 6th place, or 7th place, sorry, we have Enter Team 6. Who wants to get us started with those people?
Yeah.
And they are, where are they? Up 6 from predictions. My goodness,
Yeah.
yeah, they were predicted
This
like
is-
last place or something.
Yeah, this is a huge upturn from them. Like I kind of half expected, like I expected them to do better than where they were placed. Like I think I originally had them placed in like maybe 10th, I think 10th, or so. But like this is like it's a team that came together fairly well considering what it's made out of. Like I think it's all rookies, with the exception of who have we got? Like Bones, Cheeto, Gaza, Gravy. Oh, and then I suppose a couple of Sunshine Coast rookies with Hendo and Weston. But that team being led by Bones, and I think it's a huge thing. Like Bones has really stepped up through this comp. Like I've seen him captain a few teams for League here and there, and take a little bit of that. But dude really like pulled some things out, and like had a really good read on games. Like adjusted well to things when things changed in game, and was able to just drag people through bases as needed. Like I think between like Bones, West, and Cheeto and Hendo, like they're so familiar with each other. They've played so much together that they're able to just sort of just pull stuff along. And I know Gaza went into the team and just basically said, "I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. Tell me where you want me to go." And they just said, "Play last line," and that's what he did for a lot of it. And I think he did fairly well for that. I think that's like Gaza might have been a little underutilized for that, but gave the space for the other four to just run wild and do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it was actually crazy kind of seeing like Bones to Bones, like what we got from Bones, like compared to what I feel like we usually get from Bones, seeing him actually be able to captain and stuff was kind of crazy because it's not something I would have put money on it being terrible before, like, but I think he actually did really well and he was making good calls. He was attacking really well from the games I refed and I saw them. Like, it actually felt like he was doing... I was sleeping. I don't think I'm sleeping on Bones, but he definitely did well on the weekend. So maybe I do sleep on Bones usually, but he proved me otherwise on the weekend.
No more.
Like, I think
No
he
longer.
did... Like, the freedom was nice to see him, like, not shit the bed and him kind of make the calls. I watched him solo a bunch of bases, like, confidently. He didn't even say, I was reffing, and he didn't even say the got it thing. Like, usually he gets a base and he goes, got it! And I was, like, waiting for it. I was like, please, you just destroyed everyone. Just say the meme. And then he didn't even say the meme. It was actually
Not necessary.
He was too good for it.
Didn't have to tell himself.
That's true, because it was just him. But I think, like, from what I could see, like, the vibes were always good. They always seem to have some form of a plan. And I'm not sure 100%, but, like, I'm going to guess the lights really probably helped Bones captain for the first time. And, like, that just made it so much easier for him to make calls in the game if anything did happen and he didn't know exactly what was going on.
How do we think this team felt about 60MS?
I think they're used to it. I think it's a sort of a bit of a indicator that we see in a difference between some of the Sunny Coast kids that are coming up and like league kids from other sites, is that they've got a lot of mentality where it's just like, oh, we just do it.
They're just playing laser tag.
Yeah, they don't complain about anything. They're playing laser tag. They're just here to do it. Like, you tell them what the settings are, and they're like, okay, all right, let's go shoot people.
I feel like they also probably couldn't even explain what the fuck was going on. They would be like, yeah, we're playing 60 MS. The alive person has an advantage. I don't really know what that means, but like, yeah, let's shoot them. And it's like, and that kind of makes it okay because there's no like mental illness coming from it. Like, it's just like we go in and play. Like,
no one's ever taught these kids A, how to be scared of anyone, or B, how to be sad about stuff. They just do it.
Yeah. And the thing is none of the Sunny Coast kids know who the fuck anyone is. And realistically, there was no one at Prenats 1, but like, I don't see them being like, oh, I'm scared of these people. They just have always not cared. Like, it's just like,
this is going to be a sidetrack, but this is like one of my favorite stories from like about Bones from like Hobart, is when they were playing up against the Cobras. They neglected to tell Bones who the Cobras were and just told them there were a bunch of chumps, go shit on them, and he just did. They just sent him over the Cobras base, and he just shat on all of the Cobras for the entire game, and came back and was like, yeah, they were shit.
Yeah.
We had a there's 100% something to that, like that. not putting players up on a pedestal, because if you do and you come up against them, you're already at an inherent advantage. Like, it's one of those things you can't, it's not like a technique or anything. It's just, if you aren't thinking about who this other player is and they're just lights to you, like, you're going to do better than if you're like, oh my God, like that's Wax. Oh my God, that's bloody Grub. Oh my God, that's like this other player. It doesn't, it's definitely a thing. And the biggest time I've ever seen that was when Dossie made his debut year in 2020, because Aftershock did the same thing where we didn't tell Dossie who anyone was, and he would come out of games and he'd be like, yeah, I don't know who this player was on that door, but I was kind of just like shitting on them, and we're like, dude, that was this player. They've won tournaments before. And he's like, oh, sick. No, definitely it would be interesting to do a study on that, but nah, super cool. Just funny you say that. So we talked about 60 ms a bit, didn't we? Did we talk about the lights? We did. Yeah. What are some points of improvement for these players and this team?
I would.
There you go.
Oh, I would say it's probably going to be just a little bit of that. I feel like it's only experience for these guys. Like, from this team and like onwards, were the ones that made me feel like I couldn't walk around the maze. Like, they just had, aside from obviously like this team, I mean the Holmes site team, basically all of them, to now like reapproach everything again. But it was like maybe just a little bit of the thing, because like Bones was doing things which is good, but I think I only saw much from Bones and I think Gaza in games. Actually, no, Cheeto also like ran out and binned me a bit, but I didn't see much of the lesser experienced people or the newer people.
Yeah,
No.
I will say that like Hendo's really good on a door, but he just needs to improve on watching his arm. Like, his arm just really comes back sometimes, and he needs to get better at not doing it, because I feel like he's going to get termed a bunch of nats, and he might be a bit slightly confused because he doesn't really know what's happening, unless people are telling it. But there was times where I was like, Jesus Christ. But like, I think all of them just need to like play more, and they like, this is really good result for them, and what they were doing was honestly pretty solid. Like,
yeah, they should be real proud of themselves. I think they've done an awesome amount of work. Like, their out of game prep was huge as well. The amount of times I saw them sitting down, like going over tactical talk with the whole team, like was impressive.
Fantastic. So yeah, all in all, super impressive from Enter Team 6, being 6 spots up from predictions. Who was everyone's pick for standout player?
Bones. Easy Bones. I think.
Bones or Gaza. I think that's just because they were the only people I saw most of the time.
I don't really know why, but I'm just gonna give it to Weston, because I think he's been showing up to training a bunch, and like, he does a lot of the work, and I think this was good to see him like get rewards for it.
Fantastic. Is Weston Launton or Sunny Coast player?
He's a Sunny Coast player, but he comes to Launton like every week.
Yeah, right. Good on him. That's some damn commitment. Cool. All right. Any other bits we want to say, or let's move on to the next team? What do you reckon?
Yeah. Next team, old people plus Dodge and
Next
Arthur.
team, yeah. We have Blue Steel in 6th place, down at 1 predictions. Who wants to get us started off talking about Blue Steel?
Oh yeah, I'll carry on. I feel like Blue Steel is one of those teams that like had a lot of raw ability behind them. I think there was a bit of hampering in the sense of like between Arthur and Blitz having not been around for a while and coming back in, but also like frustratingly still being able to just demolish people after being like not doing anything for 2 years. So that's just that natural natural skill thing. I think we saw Dodge take a lot of the lead for these games, and do a lot of that. If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't him, it was Adam. So I think Dodge and Adam ended up spending a lot of time on the attack. And I feel like Mopar spent more time in defense last landing than anything. hey. I don't know. It's like it's a pretty solid build of players. It's kind of they ended up kind of about where you'd expect them. I would have even like expected them to see get a little bit higher. But I think they played a pretty skillful game. They just lacked I think Dodge might have lacked the firepower that he's used to playing with Catalyst, and was still trying to do stuff as if he had those teammates. Yeah.
Cool. Finn, Wax, you got anything you want to add? Finn, you got anything?
Not really. Like to me, like I didn't play them super often, I don't think. But when we did, it was it was very locked down. But I think I don't know. This is a team I wasn't expecting to dump, and when they did, I was just more annoyed. I'm like,
They were
you
dumping
probably
because
didn't need to.
bad because they weren't doing great at that point.
Yeah, okay.
Like, there was games like from talking to Dodge, there was games where he's like, we played laser tag, and that game was really good. And then the next game it'd just be like, I don't even understand what just happened. And I think that's like the hard thing where it's like Blitz wandering off a little bit. So Stingray was telling me about how he just kind of had to always be watching Blitz's door because like no matter what, it would just kind of like he would just disappear sometimes and like not say much. And then like I think like they were doing really decently like on 60 ms. But they also didn't really do amazing on attack after they got through Dodge and Arthur. And even those two, I think, sometimes struggled a little bit. And I also just, like, I don't think they played the ramp, like, ever. Like, they pretty much ignored the ramp from my memory. I don't remember seeing them up there. And that's just, like, you're missing out on so much information and, like, kind of the flow of the game by doing that, and it's just
I do have another fun story for another fun in-game story. I was reffing a game. I think I was in blue base or something, and they were playing out of green. And I watched Arthur and Dodge come through. Dodge gets his base, and Dodge goes, "Cool, cycle it." I'm like, "Oh, cool, sweet, watch this happen." Arthur goes, "All right, cool, semi blitz." Next person comes out as Stingray. Stingray gets base. Like, cool, semi blitz. Next person comes over as Robo. He's like, all right, gets the base. Semi blitz. Next person that comes over is Mopar. He's like, what the fuck? Blitz wasn't even in the fucking game.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's so funny. That's awesome. I love that. You saying that you don't think they were making use of the lights? Was that what you were saying before? They weren't making use of the ramp.
The ramp. Yeah. So you can see the lights from anywhere in the maze, pretty much.
Okay.
So like, you don't have to be on the ramp, but when you're on the ramp, the lights are like right there. Like you're like just underneath them, so you can kind of see easily. But I feel like, I feel they underutilized Stingray. Like he was last lining a lot, and he was doing really well when in blue, and I think he might have been last line in green. But he definitely was the last line in blue, but I'm not sure about. Was he not?
I think I remember seeing Blitz in there maybe 2 different games.
No, Blitz was in green. Yes, no, that is true. Blitz was under in green, and I think he sat red because they had 6. And Mopar was last line in red because I called him dumb for sitting in a corner because he plays last line like a weirdo, and I lost my line. But I feel like they were very close to like being a little bit better, but they just couldn't work it out consistently from what I could see to like do it.
Fantastic. What are some points of improvement for this team going forward? Are we going to get any kind of a blue steel for Nats, or is it just for pre-Nats as well?
There's like the code name for like the team that's being made is blue steel. That's just what people are calling it because it's kind of like Mopar's team.
Right, it's not blue steel.
It's not. It's probably not going to be blue steel.
I think it's got Mopar and Robo, and I think that's as blue steel as it gets.
I think everyone's just been calling it that because it makes it easier to kind of like gauge what is happening.
Sure, yeah. Well, either way, what are some points of improvement that you would give to Blue Steel, assuming that they did stay together?
I don't have a lot actually. All of them. Just like keep doing what they're doing. Just do it better.
Blitz and Adam playing more.
Yeah. get some more practice in.
Calming that you're leaving at blitz, like from defending, like just all small things. Like it's nothing crazy. I think they were fine on lockout. I think the lights would help Dodge a little bit because he's still like there's still some things that he's not great at calling in a game, so the lights would help him like 100% call the right thing. I'm not even sure. Like I'm surprised. Like when they were doing well, I'm surprised to see them 6th. But I guess when you look at the people above them, it's kind of fair. But I think it just would have been like whatever happened on the last day.
Fantastic. Who is everyone's pick for standout player?
Adam.
I want to. Blitz was very chill. I think gave me the most rough time in the maze too.
I'll say Stingray. I feel like Stingray's still crazy and he always kind of like just exists and gets forgotten about slightly.
Just rocks up. Just players. Peregrin?
Yeah, I put Adam as my sort of like my standout player just because, you know, to be able to show up after not playing for ages and still be able to like play that well is insane. He's done particularly well to be able to like still show up and then identify not just play well on the pack, but look around his space and go, I know what the problem is and I got to go deal with that. Like that's usually a very like learned ability that takes a lot of time to build up, but he's just retained it over the years.
Yep.
Why can I not work out who's top right?
Robo.
That makes sense.
Awesome. All right. Any other drawings we're unsure of?
No, we're good here.
You got him?
I got him.
Where's Blitz?
Lightning bolt.
The lightning bolt.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. 2 lightning things in one fucking thing. Very unimaginative, but whatever. Get off my case. Cool. Fantastic. Moving on to 5th place, we have the boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Up 2 from predictions. Who wants to get us started? Who wants to start us off talking about the boys that are back in the town?
Yeah, I can jump on that one. So yeah, definitely did better than we kind of expected. They really pulled it together. Really did a really good job. Like had a lot of power behind them, I think, the whole way. I'm gonna give like props instantly to Rat for just folding into that team so well. Like dude really picked up a lot, like performed really well, and sort of adapted really well to what the team needed, from what I could see. The only sort of thing I'd sort of say where they kind of struggled is that they seemed like they played a pretty basic game, and they just got by on a lot of like power and talent, but didn't seem tactically dense as so much. That said, I didn't play them a great deal, but from the games that I watched of them, it just seemed that they had a fairly basic, straightforward strategy. Just a lot of 2-3s. We're just going to run our bases till we get enough bases. If we're not getting enough bases, we're going to pull more people, and we're going to get more bases.
It's a simple game, brother, but you know, if you got the players to do it,
yeah,
you got the players to do it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a case of like, Potato's a good attacker, but not a good captain. And I think it's hard for him to make those calls and stuff in a game, especially when your only other attacker is Stalker. And past that, I don't think any of the rest of the 3 of them are very strong attackers. So I think it's hard past getting their first initial 4 bases, and on lockout as well, that can be questionable sometimes to like get more than that. Like Rat outside of a base is okay at dueling, not amazing at like attacking. But inside he was doing amazingly. And then like from what I could see from Fuzzy, like I think he played last line in green, and I think he was doing decently. Like when I saw him, he was doing fine in green. But I just don't think the confidence is there yet, and like he's still getting the rust off, and like even getting the rust off, like the level he was at when he quit compared to where everything kind of is now, and like the team that he's on, it's kind of rough because I feel like he's still got to improve a bunch as well as take the rust off. So it's kind of hard doing all of that at once.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot further to go than the rest of them.
Yeah, and then like Zeropa is like always solid defender, gotten slightly better at attacking. Like, it's just not a thing that's like reliable yet. So it's kind of hard to like have two attackers and everyone's dumping and the game's playing really fast and they just can't attack too.
Anyone else got some observations from the boys?
I think I kind of agree with it. Something like the boyfriends noticed was like it felt like everything came down to what Potato and Stalker were doing for most of the games until it became a dump. Because I think they kept it basic 2-3, and then did Lights things. Oh, we're not winning, gotta go. But I also agree that like Rat really worked for the team and also was like a pain as the last line. Like I didn't like diving that base. As soon I was like, he's under, newer player, run in, and I get binned a couple times. I'm like, okay, but yeah, like it. I think they can play it simple, but they needed more than just simple. Because I think all the players individually were perfect for those like just those simple roles of just playing 2-3, and if you commit to just that 2-3, it was fine. But then swapping out was a bit rough because I remember seeing like Rat not in a base from time to time, out to get like the dump base or something, and if like a player or two happened to come over to contest, it was a little harder than it probably should have been.
Yeah, I think there becomes another decision-making factor where, like Rat's still figuring out what the smartest things to do in a game are.
Yeah,
but you can chalk that up to experience because not super, like hasn't been playing too long. I want to say, but I don't.
Nah, yeah, he's played since he was a kid,
years.
but he still hasn't been. Or he's only been playing recently, like at a level that's like meaningful.
Yeah.
Like he understands how to play. It's just like him actually doing it and like doing the right things and stuff. I could see this team doing a lot better if they had a captain. I think who like if Taipan was actually playing with them instead of playing with Shark Clips, they would have done a lot better. I just think it's hard for Potato to organize the 3-man attacks that he needed to do in this game, especially with the like people they have.
Yep, fantastic. Thank you. How do we feel they felt about 60 MS, or how did it affect them?
I'm actually not sure with this one.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. They like even training wise, that team tends to sort of separate themselves from everyone else training wise. So it's hard. We don't even have much of an idea of how they've been reacting to it and how they've been developing around it. And the rest in the games, like we don't really hear much from them about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So no strong
made it feel like it wasn't.
Yeah. No like strong feelings either way. Like no negative, no positive. Just kind of just living through it.
Just playing laser tag. And what about the lights? Do you reckon they were making use of the lights, or was it just something they didn't really need, or what's the vibe?
I think they were making use of them. I think Potato would have been maybe using them a fair bit to make his calls in those late game moments.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Who are our picks for stand-up players? Phynn, you can start.
Rat, because he gelled well into a team, like essentially an established team, or I guess established of the past.
Wax?
I'm going to give it to Roper because I termed him for covering as he tried to deny a dodge. And then when I termed him, as he left the base, he went to go through the reload and then went through the reload the wrong way and got termed again for going through the reload the wrong way.
That's amazing.
Stand out, but not for the right reasons.
That's awesome. Oh, jeez. Peregrin, who's your pick?
I mean, like Potato's my go-to for that team. Like, dude's incredible. Just insane the way that he can play. Still a lot of fun in a game. And yeah, I think he's done pretty good putting in the hard yards to try and captain that team.
Fantastic. Anything else about the boys are back in town before we move into the top 4?
The Stalker one is criminal.
It's good, huh? It's good.
I remember him telling me, I was like, why do you never wear your shirt? And he's like, I hate wearing it out. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because it says Stalker. And I'm like, oh, that's so fair.
People don't understand.
Yeah, that's funny. I was gonna do like Stalker as in like the gas mask guys from like the Stalker games, but I was like, nah, that's a lot of effort. I can just draw a guy like snooping.
Creeping.
It's all right. I'm sure he's awesome and doesn't do anything like that IRL. Cool. Moving on. Well done to the boys back in town. Up 2 for predictions. Hope to see you back in some fashion. 4th place, we have 1-up. Down 1 from predictions. Who wants to start us off about 1-up?
They're not 1-up anymore. What the hell? They're 1 down.
One down. True. That's what I'll write. Damn. That's good.
Yeah.
That was a good
It
one.
was
Who wants to start us off?
Interesting combination of a team, actually. Like I think they kind of did end up with that sort of thing. The things they said on like the prediction stream, where like Cairns really wanted to go fast, and the rest of the boys didn't really want to go very fast or move particularly. Like had a bit of a different idea of like how they wanted to run stuff. I think they had really good maze control. Like there was a period of the comp around the middle, sort of like end of Cascades 1 through Cascades 2, where their whole strategy was basically go up onto the mez, start with 2 people up there, lock it down, and put Spider in a position where he can shoot the mez if the person on the mez dies. So they're just like, it became hard to do anything with that mezzanine space. So I think they lent really hard into the pack points game early on, and then just went, all right, we'll get bases later. We'll just wait till the game opens up, and then we'll go from there. But
Which honestly,
have a pack lead.
I think was good.
Yeah.
But when people start dumping every time the lights change, it's like it's definitely hard to do that.
Well, I think that was the idea of that play, was like get up on pack points, so when people start doing stuff, we're already ahead, and all we have to do is keep up on bases.
I think they struggled to keep up on bases.
Yeah. Like you could kind of see that in sort of the later games, like Kansas starting to get up them a little bit for like not moving quickly and for not transferring over from base to base to base. Like I played a few games where they were like dump bouncing, and they would hit the base would go down, and I'd hear Kansas go, all right boys, let's go, stick together, and just would like shepherd the rest of the team. Definitely like a moment I had where like they took a base and they went to go, like a Kansas calling Spider like, let's go to red base, and Spider went to stand off with me to like get one last kill, and Kansas came up and shot Spider, so the Spider wouldn't have to wait for me to activate, so they could just go instead.
Yeah, that's so funny. Get over here, bro.
Yeah. Stop doing that. Get over here. So yeah, that was it was a neat time. Like they definitely really had a lot of arena control. Like trying to fight either.
You couldn't go on the ramp.
You could not go on the ramp. If they were in the game, you couldn't go on the ramp. Like Morrow just had so much control of that place, of the ramp, you couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. And then if you'd finally beat Morrow, you just see Spider's arms appear.
Yeah.
From like nowhere.
Morrow would just call ramp, and these just pop.
Yeah.
That's so cringe. Awesome.
I want to add this as well, but like, their maze control. Like, I remember looking at the scoreboards whenever we went, and they had like the pack lead immediately on like every team. But then even in the game, I think they set up like effectively a bubble around their base. And every like section was covered in some way.
The issue I saw with this was if you actually got in, it was bad.
They could keep the...
Yeah, I found
so we had a fun moment which happened twice. Brodizzle kept walking past like 2 different people and got the base off them twice in the exact same way, and it like stumped Spider apparently. Like they were just like, what? What's going on? Like they like popped through, and like 2 different people had like presumably messed up.
Yeah.
Or like all it takes is one thing.
Yeah, I definitely had like a similar thing where it was like their defense was spread out to be able to get that maze coverage, so it was relatively easy to slip past it. I definitely had a couple times where I'd sneak past the defender, be like, "Oh, cool! I'm gonna get a quick dive inside the base," and there was no one in there. Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
They did
all
that a lot where they didn't have a last line, which is
Yeah.
a large
I feel like the
commitment.
only- I feel like the
but-
only game they played with someone under the base was in green.
Yeah. Which I actually don't hate on lockout. It's just if there are any mistakes or miscoms at all, it's fucking over. Like,
Yeah.
I think the
How
way
do
that they
we-
played worked really well for the players they had. It's just hard. It felt like Cairns needed one other person. And if he had one other person, it honestly probably would have been really... This team would have, like, become twice as strong.
How do we feel that the guys played on with the 60 ms? Because that's typically something like when we talk about 60 ms in a tournament that one upset, it's like something you would expect them to be quite good on because they played on Nexus for so long, and they're like good dueling players. So yeah, how did they go with that?
Yeah, smashed it, I think.
Like, as I said, the ramp
I don't remember.
is a no... Like, it's just a no-go zone. Just don't even bother because, like, you have to beat Morrow and then you'll get shot by Spider. And it's just like...
Yeah, it was a whole thing. I think they did well on it.
Did you just see what... I'm going to guess you realized what you were doing. You nearly drew. That was crazy. That was crazy. Holy shit.
They got so close.
That was way too close. Oh my god. Don't clip that. That needs to be scrubbed from the internet. Oh my god. Rest in peace, Laser Sports Academy. Oh. Woo!
But I feel
Anyway.
like as we expect, like 60 ms is not important for this team, and like Cairns doesn't need the lights. Like the only thing that the lights are going to help Cairns with is like if he thinks they're slightly ahead, but maybe their pack lead isn't as big as he thinks it is that game.
Yeah.
Or something.
I think if anything, it gives him an idea of what the other teams are going to do.
Yeah.
Like, cool, it's red, so that blue team's going to go to red base in a second.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I just had a heart attack. That was crazy.
I was watching you draw it, and I was like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
Who is this player?
No, I just
Oh.
instantly, as soon as you did the first two lines, I was like, "Riot,
No.
Riot."
Yep. You know, you gotta take risks in life sometimes to make a perfect drawing. You know what I'm saying? Far out. I have like completely. I like was already distracted with the drawing, but I've completely lost my train of thought. We talked about lights. We talked about 60 ms. What are some points of improvement that we would say for like things for one up to focus on in their training going to the next one? We obviously talked a little bit about like the looseness of their setup, which enabled them to get a lot of fill points, did also enable them to have people sneak behind them and stuff, right? So, but what we can speak more on that, but like anything else that we think is worth pointing out.
I think it's just that thing of like if they're gonna make that spread, they've got to make sure they're being tight on the D as well.
You're gonna spread and be tight.
Spread and be tight.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Like,
I mean,
just,
it's not like
You
if you're gonna
spread,
push that third player forward, yeah, do that. But then like make sure you've got someone covering that defense still.
Yeah.
you spread, but the comms need to be on point, and I don't think their comms were on point.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Anything else?
I feel like just the only thing is like someone like stepping up more like on attack, but like I think it's hard with what was available.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Cool.
what Cairns and the speed that Cairns is used to on like
Yeah.
Spartans and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Who is everyone's pick for stand-up player?
Morrow.
Yeah, Morrow actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say
Flex.
Cairns for not like losing his mind. He actually did okay at not like losing it. Because like it felt like it was a 1v4 situation, but he kind of like just dealt with it, and it was like a lot more pleasant than I expected it to be.
Sick. Yeah, Morrow was just a raid boss on the ramp, huh?
Yeah. Untouchable, really.
Yes.
My roommate has made me spaghetti bolognese because they're an absolute gem.
Wow.
Let's go.
There you go. Serve everyone. Get you a roommate that gives you a serve of their spaghetti bolognese. Huh?
I was so worried you're gonna drop it just then.
Trying.
Just pour it onto my keyboard. Yeah. Cool. All right. We're into our top 3 now. So well done to 1UP for obviously having a strong showing at pre-nats. Looking forward to seeing them. I guess the next tournament they're going to be at is Worlds. Slightly different. Like they won't have Mad Cans. It was slightly different roster, but they will have Spider and the usual suspects. So yeah, cool. Third place we have Beep Beep up 3 spots from predictions. Who wants to get us started off with Beep Beep?
Oh, go on, Wax.
Go on.
Surely.
So I went to do my list because I wasn't on the stream. I actually had Beep Beep in third, so like actual W for me because I predicted this to happen. Like
Genius.
I thought it was going to be slightly more last minute clutchy than it was, where it kind of felt like they were actually in a really good spot and like the way that they were playing was really solid. Their new players were like so much better than I expected. Not expected, but I kind of like knew they were decent, but I also didn't know what that meant yet because I hadn't properly seen it yet. Like I'd heard about Nunu, I heard about Pandas, but I hadn't seen it yet. And Bembo, I still know nothing about Bembo. I've got one meme about Bembo, and all it is like he's on the top of the ramp as someone's inside of our base, and he's shot Diego and Pug, and then Diego turns to him and says, "The other team's in your base," and he just goes, "I don't care, points or something." Like Giga Chad just like absolutely like shuts him down, and it was like, all right, this guy's just him. Whatever, like if we lose, like whatever, accept it, move on.
Awesome.
But like just the way like the way that Shock was captaining was so strong, and like the slow style with the quick like yeah, it was I love my points, not whatever I said. But the way that they were playing was like really solid, and like you could tell that like I never felt like maybe they were, but it just like they were like, oh, we're in finals, like whatever, like it's fine, like. And I don't know if that's that Sunny Coast mentality where it's like the kids just don't understand, like they're like, whatever, we're playing laser tag, who gives a fuck, like we shot some lasers, we shot some people who we don't even know, this guy's shit, this guy's crap, like. And it's just like I never like they were like where Pug was like it's my first like teams finals. I'm like, bro, calm the fuck down, like it's not that deep. And he's like, bro, it's my first one, and I'm like, just shut up, stop being stupid. And like where these 3 kids are like, whatever, we don't care.
It was always meant to be here. That's pretty good. That's sick. Good on him. How do we feel that this team, and I guess in particular the new guys, I'm interested, like how they felt about 60MS and how they went with it?
Pretty solid. I don't think
it's
it impacted much.
Like the play style of like the fast attacks and the 3-mans and the lockdown 4-man D kind of thing worked really well for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job of it. Like they spent a lot of time with, I think, trying to keep Moss outside of the base, which is a wild thing for him because like usually he's pretty exclusively a last line, but trying to get a bit more of that power outside of the base was definitely a bit of a thing for them. So like their defense wasn't as effective as it could have been, which is like a wild thing to think about with that team. Like they could have definitely gone further. But yeah, I think definitely big props to like the likes of Nunu, Bembo, and Pandas for just being able to step up and just like, you know, like Shock is saying in the chat, like they got told that we're going to make finals, and they just went, oh yeah, okay, cool, let's go. They just don't have like don't breed fear into the Sunny Coast kids.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. That's
That's
so
really
it's
good.
3 new people, right? 3 new people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's super cool to see.
I will
Pretty
say I
scary.
did.
That's
I
we
did
talk about not breeding fear. Like that's scary for everyone else, bro.
there's no fear, but I definitely saw lack of brain cells sometimes where like the deer in headlights,
Yes.
like the kind of not really knowing what the fuck to do, and like,
Oh,
and there was
just
a
a
bunch
story
of
time with
moments like that. Yeah, go on, Finn.
we had 2 different games where it was pretty much we had 2 games against them, and both times we had like everyone on our team was kind of memeing about the fact that like Shock was like drill sergeanting some of the newer players. And it's like, go here, stand here, and
But
like
they
telling
needed
them,
it. They 100%
yeah, they
needed it.
they needed it. They were still doing it, but like without it, they were just kind of, we are playing this, not much else outside of that. But it also meant if they were told to go do thing, they mindlessly went and did thing. So you could just sort of like look over, chase their, like run with them the whole way and be like, all right. But I mean, if they're not drilling fear, then the drill sergeant also works, because then you don't like scare away your players.
Yeah. I think just like the dynamic with Cyrix and Shock was really good to like keep these kids like learning and like understanding what was happening, and them just using the skills that they've gotten over like them playing since they were like 8 years old. And it's like homemade, so they're going to be able to feel like way more comfortable. So I think it's like perfect.
Yeah, it's like kind of a perfect storm for them in a way, but still super, super impressive, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And do you think they made much use of the lights at all, or do you think Shock needed it, or was he pretty like dialed in anyway? What do you reckon?
I think he still needs it. He still is making use of it. But I think it's sort of, I think it's just emphasizing his game reading ability at current as he develops it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because in the past I think he's been much more of a just zone out and go instinct kind of player. Where now he's moving into a position where he's starting to do a bit more captaining and he's running a few more games. So I think it's a developing skill more for him. But I think he's getting there.
Yep.
I think it well.
You lagged so much, Finn. I don't know if that was just me, but we didn't know what you said. Just repeat what you said.
Oh, probably it's raining here. Oh, I think he did well. I think like, my thing that I think when I put them lower was because I was like, Shock's captaining? Interesting. Because the same sort of thing of like, the only thing I've known is, yeah, he just goes off instinct as opposed to having to think about like massive or big game things.
The thing is, instinct is actually good though, because you kind of have a really good feel for the game, like in your brain, and you just got to learn how to translate that into words to tell other people like what the fuck to do. So you can see the entire game, and then like you just need to be able to speak.
Yes, sound familiar, Wax?
Shut the fuck up, you little bitch. We're not at me yet. You can bully me in like 5 minutes. But like improvements, I feel like just honestly like getting more experience. Like the 3 newbies getting new experience, Shock getting more experience in captaining, like it was really nice to see. And like it was just like it felt to me slightly to be expected. Because like I always get hyped up about like told about how good pandas and Newt are and stuff, and like I didn't really know Benbow too much, so I'm not too sure about like Benbow and stuff. But I was just kind of like, yeah, this is like good to see. Like we're doing the thing we need to do. Like we're using prenatzes to teach these kids how to improve and like learn a bunch and stuff. So it was a W, big W.
Fantastic. Who is everyone's pick for standout player for Beat?
Shock, my boy.
Shock, one for Shock. Yep.
I think that's an easy pick. I think outside of our 3 Nats players, I don't know Newt. I actually feel like you can sort of see like the man has had his horizons opened and he is like skyrocketed in skill.
Yeah, you gotta say that story quickly, Peregrin.
Oh yeah, so like the league night immediately after Prenats, Dude went and played one of his games, and he came out with his first, like, what was it, like 17, 19K score?
Sounds crazy. He like 90 something tags and just like was like,
dude forgot to take the pedal off the metal for League.
But I think for my pick, maybe like I imagine that Cyrex would have done a lot to like teach the kids like on the weekend what they have to do and like learn from it and stuff. So I'm gonna say Cyrex. Because like there was some weird like we were saying, drill sergeant and like being told what to do after the game. They're probably being like detailedly explained, had things I can't not speak. You know what I'm trying to say? Like things are being in detail. I can't even speak. I'm just giving up. But you know what I mean?
That was crazy.
What word am I trying to say? Is that even a word?
Thoroughly
Detailed.
I can't. You know what I mean? They're just being spoken to and told what to do and learning things.
Yeah.
Womp womp to my English.
That was crazy, man. Are you good? Do you need a minute?
I need a minute.
I think he's having a stonk.
All right, have a minute by telling me. Does everyone get these ones?
Yes.
I had to think out the box for one of them.
I love your cobblestone.
The Benbow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's been interrupted. Because nothing kept. Every time I'm doing this, I'm just like putting into Google Images the alias and just pretty much drawing the first thing that comes up. And Benbow came up with like a tripod, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. Cool. I was particularly proud of the sighing T-Rex, Cyrex moment. I was quite happy with that one.
W.
Big W. Fantastic. Anything else about Beat Beat before we move on? And Wax has had his minute to recover.
No, they've done well. They did good.
Well, yeah, super cool to see. Massive congrats to Beep Beep for being up on predictions and for the new players for just being absolute giga chads. Super cool to see and very exciting for anyone going to future Sunny Coast tournaments. Moving on, we have I'm gonna draw for their team name instead. But we have Shark Lips in second. Who wants to get us started talking about Shark Lips?
Oh, I wanna start just by saying that like after the review stream, this is just a funny moment more than anything. But Taipan coming over and be like, "Did you call me angry?" And then at Nat's like the one time I remembered him saying this, and then I look over and he's literally yelling with his teammates. I'm like, yes. There it is. Like I don't. It didn't matter because like it was just one game that I like saw, but it was still funny. I'm like, that's what I was.
You did the thing.
You did it.
Yeah. I
overall,
I actually would say the opposite. I barely
just wanted to
saw
throw that out there.
like any anger, which was nice.
Man's been
I think
exceptionally calm.
Oh yeah, it was like the one time I think they were angry at all.
I am just gonna start by saying like Orcry gave Pug and I lots of trouble at green, especially because the way that front door worked was it was very difficult to like catch timings on him without him killing you most of the time. So it was very hard to go positive in a game with Shark Clips, and we attacked them because of Orcry. And we had like actual strategies just to kill fucking Orcry, like because it was that hard at times to like catch a timing on him, and he was just doing solid like work at all points. And like if you went to the other door, I think Mushu was definitely like a lot weaker, and you could tell he was doing a little bit a couple more stupid things and whatnot, but he was still giving good comms and like doing solid in the game. He just would occasionally do something a bit silly. But then if you just get past Mushu and you try and dive the base, this is honestly the best I've seen Noodle play. Like, I think this was like, I bullied him a little bit after Nationals and was like, you need to do this, stop doing this is dumb, like blah, blah, blah. Like, and it's so nice to see him like actually perform really well. Like it felt like he wasn't like a liability. Like he was doing really well under. He was doing well out of the base. Like it just felt like this was kind of like, it's like Pug's always been ahead of him recently, and it felt like Noodle was actually like on par or maybe even better than Pug this weekend. Like it was really good to see. And like the way that they attacked was really good. Like their attack was Taipan definitely knows how to play 60 MS. So like their strategies and stuff were like really good at 60 MS. So it like just made what they were trying to do even better. So surely
someone else.
Anyone else has
any?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. A lot of
They were just they were just everyone was just captured by my drawing.
That's true.
Just went silent.
Yeah. No. I think I'd also sort of back a lot of what you're saying there. Actually, like Orkra has just become an insane defender, like an insane door defender. Like he's already was like a really good player. But like yeah, that like little advantage has just made him such a wall to be able to try and get through. And yeah, Noodle has picked up a lot. Like he's been on fire lately. It's really good to see him sort of like take a little bit of a break off for a little while and then sort of like come back with a bit of resurgence. There was definitely, I think, a little bit of like blending issues between like the Sharks players and the Eclipse players. Like you kind of see where they had their moments where they didn't pair up very well, and I think they slowly got there over time. Yeah, I think I just definitely saw a lot of like discoordination moments between like Taipan, Method, and Mushu, where they're just trying to find their pace, trying to get together. But like I think they're all skilled enough players that once they found their groove, they were able to really run with it.
Yeah, and I think like Method and Taipan were doing really well at attacking together. Like they were 2-man attacking and getting really good hard defense bases and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think they were making use of the lights, or do you think that's like an experienced enough team that just didn't really need
I think Taipan knows like the lights don't matter to him. They just like help, like as I've said to other people, just to confirm things.
Yeah.
Probably helps defense slightly more to know kind of the flow of the game, so they're not as out of the loop. Because I feel like Taipan's someone who doesn't tell other people what's exactly going on, but maybe I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
His drawing is crazy.
Yeah, you got this one?
Yeah, this looks sick.
Issue.
Thank you. Mulan is goated, maybe.
I didn't know what it was. I just looked cool. So.
Oh.
But like in the finals, like I think it was like the first game. I'm trying to remember. First game was good for Shark Clips, but we won it just at the end. The second game, I think Shark Clips were late-ish to the party, or maybe there was a lot of dumping in the second game, and it was kind of we got. I think we were late to the party, and we got caught on a shit timing where they both kind of swapped bases, and we just kind of were like, hello, like this is fun, and then we kind of had to force our hand and do something to just even bring the game back, so we weren't just like left out of it. And then in the final game, it just felt like we were just cruising along, and it felt pretty chill for us to like to know exactly what was happening. And like I think Shark Clips didn't play as well in the last game, the finals, so I think that didn't help either, from what I could see. Yeah, and the pack, like a Method saying the lights told us the exact pack score in finals, which you would see. The thing that would be best about the lights is like if the games are close, but you're ahead on a base, right? You would see the light change for like a millisecond because someone just shot a couple of people, and then it changed back to your color, and you're like, we're ahead on bases, but we have fuck all pack, like, and it just helped with that and like clean up the game so much.
Fantastic. And we talked about Taipan being good with the 60 MS and Orkrai being really difficult to deal with. Do we think as a whole the team kind of thrived with the 60 MS?
I think so.
Yeah.
100%. I think they had good strategies for it in the way that they were attacking, and like their defense was Mushu kind of was more floaty and moving around a lot, so then Orkrai could kind of just sit there, and it just made it so that Mushu could follow people around, and Orkrai kind of just had an impenetrable door, so Noodle just kind of had to watch one door. So.
Fantastic. And who is everyone's pick for standout player?
I'm just gonna say Noodle because it was really nice to see.
Yeah, tie between him and Hawkeye actually.
I didn't see anything because these guys never came up for me. I'm gonna go with Taipan because he was chill for every other part of the comp aside from the one thing, which was memes.
Fantastic. Alrighty, well, yeah, welcome to Shark Lips being up 2 from predictions. And yes, Shark Lips we will see them next at the World Championships in New Zealand in November. So that's pretty exciting. What is method, Bro Dizzle asks? It is, I tried my best to draw the blue meth from Breaking Bad in a bag, and that is his head. Meth head. And I tried to do like a crack pipe, but yeah, this one I was not happy with, but it was hard to get right.
I find it comforting to know that you're not so familiar with crack pipes.
Yeah, that's good, right? It'd be a bit awkward if I drew like a perfect one, right? Oh, jeez. Fantastic. Well, yes. Moving on, and wrapping up the reviews. We have Vantage in first place, which was even with predictions. Who wants to get us started with Vantage? Wack, do you want to talk about yourself, or you want other people to talk about you first?
I don't mind. Does anyone want to say anything first before I speak, or?
I will
mean,
have nothing to say.
My favorite part of the whole comp was just every time we got into a game with you guys is hearing your team just go wax lights for like half a comp.
Yeah, it was
just
just
to remind you.
Yeah, I found it really hard at first to remember that they existed. I don't know why. Like, it was just like autism thing, and I just couldn't like.
Man was locked in. That's what it was.
Yeah, and
He's playing the game.
It was Little Bo's job to just say lights every time he saw me, like, so I'd remember. But like, I think the tournament was a bit shit. Like, just it felt like we should have won more comfortably, and it felt like a lot of the games like we were being bad. Like I felt like I learnt a bunch about what I kind of want to do at Worlds and whatnot, so it was good for that and stuff. But
were you missing someone? Oh, you're missing Zam from your Worlds roster, right?
Yeah. I think that like Pug is definitely like weaker on lockout, but he's still really strong. It's just hard to go from captaining where you're telling everyone exactly what to do, where like him just having free reign and like me trusting him and him doing kind of what he wants to do, and he just learning how to do that, especially on lockout and it being a bit slightly weird and stuff.
Sorry, so was it you or was it Pug leading? Sorry.
I was leading.
Okay.
So it's just hard for him to get used to not leading, is what I was saying.
Right.
And then like I think Little Bo was doing really well on the ramp and stuff, but forgetting about defense maybe a little too much. So we kind of were like way more aggressive than we planned to be by accident a lot. Where I feel like it kind of ended up being a lot of 2-3, but 2 defenders and 3 attackers a lot of the time, but it wasn't even on purpose. I don't know. I think like it was a bit rough at times, and like there was a couple games where like there was a game where we got denied a bunch, and it was just like brain rot like was setting in. Like we were just doing stupid stuff. I just yelled at Pug like to wake up, and then as soon as I did that, we just won the game like at the last second.
Wake up!
Like I just screamed at him like, "Wake up! What are you doing?" And then we just like won. Like, but there was just like there was definitely some moments of me like absolutely losing my mind, because it just like attacking on 60 MS sometimes just felt like there was parts of the maze that were kind of dead zones, where if you were caught in transition at all or followed on 60 MS, on H Pro, on how like shotgun the guns can be sometimes, it was just like, bro, what? There's nothing. I'm just dead. Like I'm just getting followed, and like this part of the maze, there's nothing I can like do, because if I peek this angle, I get shot by this other person. So there was just some like spots that like made me absolutely livid. Like, but I think it was a fun weekend, and it just kind of sucked that we didn't win more comfortably, but we still got the win. With us not playing well at all. Like I think we performed terribly compared to what I think we can do at Worlds and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like I was talking to you already, Wax, before, but that was like pretty much almost word for word the thing that everyone, like when I was watching like bits of it with like Aftershock, and we're like, damn, like we definitely expected Advantage to be kind of crushing this, but no, it's kind of, how much of that do you think was the 60 MS, do you reckon?
I actually don't think any of it. I just think, like, honestly, I was in a really shitty mood that weekend, and it was kind of hard for me to shake it. So it was just like me being captain and like projecting all my like shitty emotions, trying to hide them to like play well. So, which is something that like I am always bad at, but like it was definitely worse that weekend. So
yeah, sure.
I literally think that like if we do some things well and we play, it can be so much cleaner. There was just a lot of stupid shit that we're doing, and like it felt like we're playing our like C game, right? Like, and we still can win with the C game. So like we just need to be able to like play our A game, and it's like so much better.
Yeah. Fantastic. Obviously, like you had your team, and like Lilbo especially was like constantly reminding you to like check the lights. Did you find it affecting your decision making much, or was it kind of like?
It's brain dead. Like I can get away with like kind of not thinking as much about the game and just playing more, and like not actually keeping track of things that you should have to keep track of, because like as soon as I kind of like lose track of everything, I just look up and then I'm like, all right, it's blue now. 30 seconds ago, it was green. This person got a base. Like, we're winning on pack. We just need to get some bases. And then we'll just go do that or whatever. And like, if someone, like, especially if people started dumping and stuff, you could kind of like see what was happening. Like, I remember there was a game where Beep Beep dumped and they brought it back to winning for a second as I saw the lights. And I was like, all right, they're like really behind on pack, like an insane amount behind on pack, but they have like 4 more bases than everyone. So like we're good. We just need to like defend and just finish the dumped bases, and we're chilling. And it's just like the advantage that you get when there's someone who like actually understands the game already, and then just has this like handicap freebie like that gives them like the exact everything. It just makes it so much easier to like catch the flow of the game. If you lose the flow of the game at all, the lights just tell you kind of what to do. Like it's just like, all right, well, they're winning. This person, that means that the other team's going to do something. That means that we're going to do something. So we need to do it either first or do it proactively when we need to do the weird timing of where the winning team gets fucked. Because like, but that doesn't just mean a dump or anything. It just means like, we just need to be ready for everything, and then like decide if we're going to be proactive or defensive or whatever the hell. And it just takes away so much from the game, because there's no questions in the like decisions you make. It's the lights are like God, and you just look up and like you're stargazing, and they just tell you what to do. And as long as you're not brain dead, like you're good. Like, you can like make the calls that you need to do, and like we were dumping because like there was a lot of time on 60ms where it felt like kind of how you guys felt at blue in US. Like once you lost the base, if you didn't have 5 defenders, you just fucking left, because like the dives at Sunny Coast are really hard sometimes. And if you get a timing where they're in, the base has gone down 10 seconds ago, and so one of your teammates has to reload or something, you might as well just go sometimes, because like it's too hard to catch the timing to get back in, and then they've gotten 2 bases while you've kind of done nothing, and then they're just getting all this pack. And then as soon as there was a dump, there was the thing where like if you didn't dump first after you got dumped onto and the other team dumped, you kind of got left out of the game sometimes, and it was really hard to like, unless you hard defended and the person dumped to you, and then you cycled the other base, the not dump base, then they panic and dump to you, and you just have everyone at us. That's a free win. But when it wasn't like that, it was actually fucked. Like with lockout and stuff, because like you would get dumped to, they would get you out, then maybe someone from your team goes to cycle the empty, or we go to see the other base, but they're cycling the empty. And it's just like the way that it played was dumping was so good if you timed it right with lockout and the lights, and like you could just had so much knowledge of what was going on. And I remember in the second game of finals, us and Shark Clips were like neck and neck, and it was like a bit like they were winning on a base on pack, and we were winning on a base or something. And then Beep Beep was slightly out of it, and then they did a perfect base bounce dump. Neither of the teams dumped, not reacted to it poorly, and like kind of I think we were somewhat fighting for the dump base because it was late in the game, so we kind of needed to. Where at the start of the game we prioritized Shark Clips' base, I think, and then they prioritized our base. So it was perfect for Beep Beep to bounce dump because we kind of both needed to fight for it, and it just worked perfectly. And they won the second game because of it, because it's just like it was just perfectly timed, and like the way that it played was just like so in their favor. And no matter what, they can like, I think the lights are bad in a way where as well, like it sets in like, so usually in a game your captain's like, it's hard to communicate with your captain, right? Like, and sometimes it's hard to relay everything, and you kind of just have to rely on them making the calls. And like, if you see something, you can tell them, and you can tell them the small info. But then with the lights, you have someone in defense. Hey, we're kind of getting fucked right now. I haven't seen Wax in a while. I look up, the lights have changed between the other two teams, and they haven't been ours for a while. So there's like more panic and more like stupid plays maybe happening. So just like, maybe that's like fine, because it's like, people are being more aggressive and doing more with the lights, but
more proactive.
I just feel like the lights made it so much more negative because it felt, like the lights just dumbed everything down and made it that everyone could captain, and it made it that it kind of like got to a point in the game where like usually the calls are really important, and that's like a really positive thing about captaining, and in it being difficult, and like sets people apart from like being good captains, bad captains, blah 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 blah. But I felt like with the lights, it was like anyone could do it, and if you just kind of knew the timings of the games, when to do stuff, and then the light was not your color, you could win like pretty free.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it's kind of becomes a thing as well, like in combination with the 60 ms and the lights, is that it closes the gap a little bit, in the sense of like it brings the mid tier up, which is cool and that's great, but it also sort of creates a space where like when you flip that advantage and you put it on like the top tier players, the gap between the mid tier and the top tier suddenly gets massive at the same time. So once the advantage flips to the other person, so that it becomes that a whole thing of like, you can't just go into a game and win because you're good at the game and because you're skillful. You have to now, compete with these other people who have been handed an advantage at the same time. You can't just be good at the game. You can't just get better and win. You've almost got to be twice as good to do it.
So I'm getting a feeling the general consensus is that the lights we'd rather not have the lights. Is that something that all three of you guys would agree on?
Yeah. I think the worst thing is, for me, is it's the 3-team sport, right? And if we stay as a 3-team sport, that means that the third team can always impact. And if we have one light telling you who's winning, the third team can decide who's actually going to win a lot of the time. And that's kind of like, like, I don't mean like collusion or anything, but I just mean like, hey, we're going to play for second. That person's winning. We're going to fuck green. Like, red's winning, fuck it. We're going to fuck green.
I mean, we do already see a bit of that where teams will go into games and go, we can't win this game, but we can at least make sure you get third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's going to be worse now because there's like a confirmation of your...
They can decide that in-game.
I feel like who is losing is weird though, Brock. Like, what is that like? I guess it
So you
makes you
reverse the
kind of
li-
want to do
Reverse
something.
the lights. Reverse the lights. Show only who's losing. That's wild.
Probably
I mean,
just
that'd be lovely, just getting stomped on in a game, and looking up the lights, be like, yeah, I know.
yeah, I know, guys.
Thanks.
Chill.
That was the worst thing when like Diego would do the lights thing to me, and I'd be like, bro, shut the fuck up. I know. Like I don't need to look up. Like we haven't got a base. I don't want to look above me right now. Like that's just like it setting in that we suck.
Mm.
I will say that I heard some people saying that the flashy like base lights was really a positive thing, but I watched Gaza was on a tight front door of a base, and instead of diving and holding his trigger kind of, or like making that decision as he goes in, if it's his teammate or if it's an enemy, and him either fucking up or committing, he looked at the roof, saw it was the enemy team, and then didn't have enough time to dive. So I was like, bro, like it's just kind of like it's good because it's kind of it gives more clarity throughout the game, but I also like the idea of like someone attacking a base, kind of sneaking it, but it being up to question for the third team, because maybe their two attackers are split and they don't know who got it, and they're kind of like, wait, who actually got it? Like we don't know what's happening, like was that you? And then it's kind of like the information, it's like a fog of war thing, like they actually like need to have ideas of what's going on in the game. And I just think the lights just dumb it down so much that it's just like, just tell me on my gun who's winning. Tell me how much points I got. Tell me how many times I died. Just fuck it. Like, it's just give me everything. So like, at least everyone's on the same playing field. The lights only make it negative for the winning team because they kind of like the target now.
Mm. Yeah, it becomes a thing of like everybody needs to do something to beat that team. That's all the tactic becomes.
Yeah. And realistically, I don't think it affected the finals an insane amount, but I also think it wasn't a great finals. So I think it was hard to like, it wasn't like super close to be like the lights are changing constantly. Like we need to do this with like it. Where like I feel like in a slower game and like, or like maybe like Hobart finals when it was back and forth in the second game or whatever. I don't. It could just be so interesting at times, but it also like I don't know. It just takes away so much knowledge from the game and dulls it down. And maybe that's fine. But the thing is, like I had someone point this out to me. I don't remember who it was. But just say we do it for Sunny Coast, right? We commit, we have it, like the lights are on. Then we go to New Zealand and the lights are off, and we have all these idiot kids who have just captained like with the lights, and their lights are like their god. But now they don't have shit, and they're like, wait, how do I actually like play the game? Like what am I supposed to do if this happens? Like, I just think it's just gonna like set us back slightly with like skill wise, maybe with like that type of stuff. But I'm not 100% sure.
Well, at that, Wax, you got your bloody rants in about the lights, so I'm glad we were happy to provide you a platform. We have been streaming for quite a while now, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the show there. Yeah, the drawing thing was funny, but I had no idea what any of you guys were saying, so I don't think I'll do it again.
I think that's okay though, because you weren't there. Like it's hard for you to like put too much input in when you won't really know what's going on.
I was missing like the beats of like asking the next question and all of that. So as fun as it was, I don't think I will do it again like that. But yes, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. Thank you, Peregrin and Phynn, for coming back from the prediction stream. Wax, always a pleasure. I guess, do I have anything to report?
World stream?
We have, yes. So I guess the next streams to happen will be a Worlds prediction stream and also a Sweenats prediction stream, because that's the month after Worlds, which, if you didn't know, I'm actually going to both.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're going, aren't you?
I sure am, yeah. So, Worlds with Aftershock, and then Sweenats I'll be playing with Electric Fire, which might be, if you paid attention to US Nationals, that's the German team that was at US Nuts. So yeah.
Solid.
they're solid. They're real good at shooting people. That's for sure. So we'll do prediction streams for both of them. Moomin actually had an idea for the prediction stream, so that one's going to be a little bit different. I kind of won't say anything yet, just because we're still kind of working it out. But I envision the world's prediction stream I'll do similarly to how I've done previous prediction streams at LSA with like kind of the whiteboard method, because it's a bit of fun. Otherwise, there's a podcast coming out soon that Butzer did with there's Latvian. I didn't even know that was a country, but Latvia. They are making, I think, their debut at Swedish, like Sweenats. So they're a new team, new players. I don't even think they have Zone in Latvia, but yeah, they're coming Sweenats. So Butzer's had a pretty interesting conversation with him, trying to, figuring it a bit about those guys. There's laser tag is played. Like we only ever think about like Zone primarily, especially in Australia, I think. But there's like so many actual like smaller other laser tag communities that aren't Zone like worldwide. I think in Australia it's hard because we pretty much only have Laser Force and Zone, but in Europe and in the US there's like so many different systems that they use. So yeah, that'll be the next podcast to release. Otherwise, yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Do any of you have anything you wanna sign off with, or should we just wrap it up?
Wait. I've got something.
All right, he's got something. Give him a sec. Okay.
Turn the lights off. That was the meme. Get rid of them.
Oh, right, lights off. Sure. Yeah. Turn them off.
So good.
Off. I was like, what is he doing? Off. All right, everyone turn your lights off. Everyone turn your lights off. Oh, there's mine. Gone.
Oh my god. Hold on.
Go turn your lights off. This is an official protest.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Catch you later. Bye.
Stand in protest.
Bye-bye.